in hindsight, like if we actually knew what it would entail, you would probably think twice. But
Filming that episode in particular was amazing. The feeling that I had whilst making that was, I can't believe we're recording this. I can't believe this is being recorded. It felt like the most internet thing I'd ever done. Like it was like the darkest corner of the internet was happening in my house for this hour. So
let's get this one. Get him on the bongos or something. So he was 4 when he started playing bongos for us.
This is Riley, the youngest brother.
Getting 10% of the earnings.
See, now that's very business-minded. And I think that there's a purity to this which the Bareback Titty Squad were never able to replicate after this. This was our first video, and it was pure because I don't think we were trying to do anything other than what you see in front of you.
Yeah.
It was like, this is 3 guys having fun. Like, the idea was it is a band that plays a Triple J Hottest 100 in half an hour.
Welcome to the Flats. Welcome, lads. We got DJ Be Kind to Other People and Sam Conway of Gang Gang. Welcome. Welcome to the Flats. It's been a long time coming this app, so very keen to have you guys in. What's been going on?
G'day. How are you?
Thanks for having us.
Loving it.
I love that. I like that you used my full DJ name.
Yes.
It's hereby my request that you use that for the entire show.
I don't do names. I do sort of bro and man.
Oh, yeah.
From here on out. But
yeah, no, it has. It's been a long time coming.
Or Callum, as I
you can
really
call me
know
Callum.
you from. But,
yeah, it's cool. I think something special about this room is there's some very old friendships in the room as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, there's creative relationships and also just regular old relationships. Yeah.
And we got some new ones watching as well. So if you are watching and you have questions for us today, watching live on Twitch, let us know and we'll put it to the boys. But you've, Sam, dragged Callum to town for the lawn Olympics on the weekend. How'd it go at Gang Gang?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, we've been wanting to get Kaz up for a gig for ages.
Yeah,
we loved his 333 mix. It was on high rotation during I think it was our first lockdown. And
nice.
As I was mentioning just before, sometimes when you're running a hospitality business and if you're just working just by the owners, we were sort of working every day.
Yeah.
Starting to get a bit tired, and then we pop on that 333 mix.
And get you going.
3 hours. What is it?
It's exact 3 hours, 33 minutes, 33 seconds. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. No, so Lawn Olympics was great. It was good fun. Yeah. It was pretty
inaugural.
Yeah. It was a bit, we didn't have a lot of planning. I think next year it'll probably be bigger and better. But
I liked the hands-off approach though.
Yeah.
You
put some instructions up.
Like I asked you the night before, what is actually going to happen? You're like, I actually don't know. But it was amazing that approach still managed to have not quite an oval full of people, but quite a few people playing lawn games for 8 hours.
Yeah, and sold out of a bunch of food. It was good. Yeah,
you did better than the Com Games. They didn't even get up.
That's a win.
Yeah.
On the podium of Olympics,
and
you win.
A couple of pretty alt games as well.
Yeah.
It's mostly just games that we've sort of found over the years. Crate ball.
Did you invent crate ball?
No, I think just a friend had maybe played it at soccer training or something, and I don't know where they've come from.
That's great.
But it's really fun. Sort of towards the end of the night when we were just sitting around and there was a group of random people playing it, and the joy when you get that ball in that crate, it's undeniable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were saying you don't have to be an athlete. It's quite an inclusive game.
Very inclusive, yeah.
Yeah. And in the theme of inclusivity, you thought you'd invite your old friend Cal up to DJ for 4 hours.
He said, I will have a dance floor.
Yeah, that's right. I made a commitment to.
And he did.
Oh, it was so fun. It was so fun. The older I get and more boring I get, the less I'm interested in staying up late.
Yeah.
But I still love the music. So for me, it's like a good 6 p.m. dance floor.
Killer.
Yeah, it was a vibe. And it was
pre-dinner dance floor.
It was a pre-dinner dance floor. And what I liked about it is it also with the theme of inclusivity, the dance floor, when I looked out, we had multiple generations.
Oh, yeah.
shaking their booties. We went down from Riley's year level and probably younger
Yeah.
up to, I reckon there was at least 4 or 5 people in their 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
And everyone in between.
That's gang.
Yeah, that's the gang. The whole gang was out in force.
Bit of everything.
Yeah. So that was it was a really good day.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah, I want to do it every year.
Yeah. We'll see how the noise complaints go.
I was going to say,
come at 6 p.m. Surely they can do it for once a year.
I was going to say, can I put you on the spot now that we've got all the cameras rolling, and say,
yeah.
can we do this next year,
Locked
please?
and loaded.
Hey, we'd love
ready to go.
We'll see you next year, Canberra. We'll lock it in.
Awesome. And speaking of those generations, you've been doing a few of those, or become known in Melbourne for those under 10 gigs.
Yes.
Which just look like so much fun.
Yeah, and that's interesting. I've really naturally found them. I've been doing like council gigs for, like specifically one for the Wyndham City Council out at Werribee Park with like just 10,000 children and their families. And I, that.
They're so good. Just
I
the
love
clips
it.
that you see.
Yeah, thanks. It's that's an interesting thing about having a name like DJ Be Kind to Other People, which really does seem like it was specifically tailored for kids events. And I think it certainly helps with me getting booked for these kind of events. But it's like, I think it's interesting that I straddle the worlds of like dirty club music for very, very naughty people and 8-year-olds.
Yeah, well, you do a good job of it too.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Would you ever do like a almost like a Wiggles type thing where it's like a new act that is a DJ? I'm sure
That's pretty dope.
something like that could work, right?
Have you guys heard of Yo Gabba Gabba?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that was I found that really inspiring when that came out. It was like play school for cool kids.
Yeah.
So instead of John the pianist, it was Lance the DJ. And like they had like Tony Hawk teaching you how to do a kickflip. Or they teach you to count to 10 by counting the number of toes hanging off the end of a surfboard on a hang 10. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah, it's interesting though. I'm very naturally finding children's entertainment without looking for it. Like Sam knows this because I've recently showed him this, like a song that I've been working on. It's my first and only single as a solo artist as DJ Be Kind to Other People. It's a pop song, and I can attest. I'm sure you can attest to this. I did not intend for this to be a kid's song, but it is very youthful.
You're a natural child's entertainer.
I think I'm just funny. Like the name DJ Be Kind to Other People, unintentionally a kid's name. My first single, Everything is a Blessing, unintentionally a kid's song.
The song's a banger though.
Thank you.
I just picture it at the end of one of those like big Disney kids movies.
Oh, I love it. Like Pixar. Yeah.
Pharrell Williams, like
happy.
you know,
It's pretty much
That's what I'm envisioning. Is like I want to fill the gap that Happy left. Is like the next.
I'm
next
keen
version of
to see the clip.
Yeah, I'm working on a music video for it right now. That's something I'm excited about. There's a music video for Everything is a Blessing. You heard it here first. It's coming.
Is
In
the
a
song
year.
out? Or the song's not out?
Song's not out yet. Yeah, it's gonna. I'll divulge the concept, and I'll just run over it quickly. It's very much a passion concept. You'd only do this if you really wanted to do it because it's incredibly time consuming and costly. But it's a choreographed dance routine in a park in Melbourne with these down a long avenue of elm trees. And every time it's this beautiful summer's day, and it's myself and 3 dancers. And funnily enough, we even kind of look like kids entertainers with the outfits that I've got. This is also unintentional. And every time the song changes, we're going to shoot it in a different season. So
you'll be able to do it in one day in Melbourne.
Didn't think of that.
Fuck, got me. So it goes from like a beautiful sunny day, the birds are chirping, and then bang, it's raining and it's winter and there's no leaves on the trees, and then suddenly it's autumn and there's like beautiful autumn hues all over the ground, and then there's different props fly in and out depending on the season. So we've got umbrellas, colourful umbrellas for during winter, and we've got colourful hats for during summer. Colourful scarves, And but look, the long story short is, as much as I appreciate your quip, Nick, that we can do it all in one day, in reality, it's going to take until the end of 2024 until anyone can even hear this. So I almost feel comfortable sharing the details of Everything is a Blessing, because by the time it comes out, you'll have all forgotten.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're looking forward to it. And we know you can pull off these big projects.
Yeah.
Mixing film and music with
Thanks.
with the stuff you've been doing. So
I appreciate that.
yeah, looking forward to it, man.
I reckon if a bold move would be tooting my own horn 5 minutes into a podcast, but that would be, I think, the thing that I'm good at is like commandeering like quite large concepts and bringing them to reality. So this is one where I was really proud of the song, and it's always on my bucket list to make like a very polished pop song. And then it's like, well, I can't let the video let the song down. The video has to be also quite high concept and executed well. So yeah, looking forward to bringing that to life.
Awesome.
Cool.
And speaking of big projects, you mentioned earlier that in COVID, working in Gang that you actually decided to launch your hospitality venue during COVID.
Well, I mean, we bought it. We took over it in the middle of COVID. Yeah, I mean,
But it actually, funnily enough, it worked for you.
it was fine. Yeah,
Yeah. You'd be one of the very few people on earth that could say that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it was kind of, I guess it was a bit cheaper than it normally would have been. We were running a rock band school before that, all three of us, and then that obviously got shut down with COVID, and we were kind of keen.
Jack Black refused to work.
Yeah, just couldn't get a flight over, and so we were kind of keen to do something together, just because we were sort of already doing that, and we joked about it. The guy that offered it to us, the old owner, was sort of like, "You guys should take it off me. Like, I've got to go." And we sort of laughed about it at first, and then I don't know. Then we just sort of went, "Oh, let's give it a crack."
Wow.
And, yeah, it was. I think in hindsight, like if we actually knew what it would entail, you would probably think twice. But but once you're in it, you're in it.
I was going to say, what about retrospectively? Like where you are now, looking back, would you have thought twice?
I mean, I love it now.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. I just wouldn't want to do anything else.
You seem really in your element.
Yeah, but it's pretty intense. We're still pretty poor, and it's like you have these ideas of like, yeah, we're going to do all this stuff and everything. And it is maybe not quite that, but yeah, it's still really great and fulfilling thing to be doing. Yeah.
It's awesome. I think your contribution to the culture of your neighborhood is unparalleled and inspiring. Of all of my friends, I think your story is the one I talk about the most. just because, I mean, coming from, I think, if I may, what I personally find so interesting about this project, aside from the fact that I absolutely love you, is that you come from a musician background, playing in bands your entire life.
Yeah.
And through that experience, working a lot with the music industry and the hospitality industry. So then bringing that to hospitality, and then seeing you run a venue through that lens, and then something I suppose I'm interested in is like, how do you think those two interplay, and in terms of how you run Gang, your musical experience?
Yeah, I mean, it's really fun to be able to host artists that we love and like host them with respect and just give them a good dinner and some drinks. And I mean, like, we don't have a green room or any of that fancy stuff, but just giving them food and drinks and like. Was
that something that you think you missed?
I mean, well, it's just funny, you know, like you'd be stoked, and you know as well, like you'd be stoked if you maybe got if you got a burger for a show. I mean, that's amazing. You'd maybe get half price off or something, or you'd get a few like of their worst beers. And so like, yeah, and I mean, at the beginning, it was really cool to be able to actually just host gigs at all, you know, and I think you kind of have to be a bit sort of, you have to really like live music and care about it. It's not necessarily like a financially.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a bit like being a restaurant and not just being a bar. Just specifically in hospitality, like if you wanted to do a restaurant, it's because you really want to do food. If you want to do live music, it's because you really want to do live music, because you've got to pay the bands, you've got to pay the soundies.
It's expensive, you know. Yeah, like I mean, it's so sad. It's just the costs add up, but it's just culture building, you know. So something. I mean, we just. Yeah, there's probably a few moments where you'd maybe think twice, but we just didn't. You know, you just keep keep doing it, and we're just so lucky, you know, that we have the cafe that allows us to take those risks and sort of, you know, we can put on shows during COVID that we were only able to sell 25 tickets, and you know, we did that for quite a while, and it was, I mean, most of the time you're losing money, but it was really, that was some of the like sweetest nights that we've had, you know, like it's the first shows that people were able to do for, I actually can't remember how long. It was a while though.
In Canberra?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's been really sweet.
Do you think that you obviously have a purity about why you're doing it? And business can be a very unpure thing because you're going up against like survival. Like you need to survive.
Yeah.
So right now you're surviving. Let's touch wood, hope that you continue to survive and thrive.
You never know.
I was going to say, do you foresee a potential future where you don't prioritize live music? Is that like would that not be the reason you're doing hospitality?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why we did it in the first place.
For music.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, I've loved learning about all the other aspects of running a restaurant, cafe. And I think that's been like one of the most sort of motivating things is just how much you have to learn and how quickly you have to do it.
Yeah.
But live music is that's the core. That's why we sort of did it in the first place. I mean, we've had to adjust and sort of, now we're like a big venue. It's very different. We can't really, we didn't really realize that until it sort of happened that we can't really afford to do, excuse me, we can't really afford to do the really small shows if they're ticketed. Yeah,
because you guys have recently graduated to like would you say like a kind of mid-sized venue?
I guess it's still small, but small to mid. Yeah.
But then in the cultural landscape of Canberra,
it's a bit bigger.
Yeah, because you've got other venues closing down that would probably be a similar size, like Transit Bar, for example.
Yeah, I don't know if they've closed.
They're still around?
I think so, but I'm not sure how much. I don't know how much live stuff
was
they're
it
doing.
Phoenix?
But, Phoenix. Yeah, they're closed.
They're closed.
Yeah,
and they would have been a similar size.
Yeah, so we've actually found we've been playing around with doing some other nights. So we've been like, when we see a night that's sort of not that busy, that's our opportunity to put on those smaller shows.
Gotcha.
So that's been really good. We've just been doing a few really nice ones on Sunday.
Nice.
And then we'll always be doing live music. Hopefully,
Awesome.
hopefully, maybe do some bigger, more fun stuff as well later.
What does that look like?
Well, I don't know.
Oh. Sounds like you do know, and we're currently recording. Gotcha. If anyone wants to know, just ask in on Twitch. He obviously can't wait to tell you.
One question I got for you, the latest announcement about the liquor laws for liquor licenses for music venues having that 80% reduction. How do you think that's going to impact? Is it going to impact you guys? Are you going to be applying for that, or that's
we're too big?
Too big.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's like an 80% fee reduction for liquor licenses for 80 packs or 80 capacity or smaller for music venues, or just. But I don't know. Maybe it's just all.
I think any
establishments.
Yeah, I guess that.
Yeah. Look, I mean, any positive change is positive change. I think like it's great that they're giving it a crack, and I was part of some of the consultation that they did. They really are. They've got this whole department, Better Regulation Task Force, that's basically I mean, it seems like they're sort of in charge of trying to enliven the nighttime economy,
Okay.
which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know how many 80 packs venues there are.
I didn't
in
realize
Canberra.
it was that small.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
I would have thought places like Gang Gang would be the perfect beneficiaries to that after
Yeah.
what you've just said about how
and I mean, look,
expensive it can be.
as much as I would love to say, I mean, liquor license is, like it's an 80% reduction. That's great, but you're still talking
It's
about
not tipping the scale.
that's maybe going to be like what, $1,200 or something,
Right.
$1,200 off on regular on license, and if you're gonna be paying musicians like properly, let alone the recommended musician's fee, which is like $250 per musician per gig. I mean, we're still not doing that. That's like, what would that be, $750 or more for a jazz trio? What's that, like 2 gigs?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I mean, it's good, but there's so many costs, like
Yeah.
insurance, outdoor dining permits. Like it's just there's some big costs in there, especially for live music venues. Like
Yeah.
we're really lucky because we're categorized, I think, more as a restaurant cafe.
Yeah.
'Cause, but I know, like Shaking Hand, that venue that opened, they just closed almost, or they stopped doing live music almost straight away because the insurance was just unviable. I think it's just
It's insane,
so
isn't it?
expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's seen as such a risk. It's just sort of like it doesn't really seem. I don't know if there's even that much evidence to support that it's that much of a risky activity.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I was very curious about that Shaking Hand case. 'Cause
That's what I was told. I mean, I don't really know. It's just like,
Yeah, it just seems like, how is anyone going to get a live music venue off the ground
you just have to be
Yeah.
loaded.
Yeah.
Which is tough as well, and I think why you guys are this great success story, because you come at it not from a financial perspective, because you come at it from a purely cultural perspective, which I think is just so fresh, like for anywhere in Australia, let alone Canberra,
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, it's we just don't know any other way to do it. That's
I love that. By default, we're rocking it.
Yeah, I mean, I was a guitar teacher before we started the business.
Yeah.
I had no hospo experience.
Yeah.
I just...
Well, there's no venue that's good out there that doesn't have music as part of what it does, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so important to any venue.
Yeah.
Even a restaurant's playing music.
Yeah.
Whereas...
And you can tell, like, the places that love it, like, you look at Rockford. I mean, they've always got just dope music on because, I mean, they love it. And, it's a big part of things. But, yeah, it's just a tricky little spot.
Yeah, and you're right. I'm even trying now to think about what venue is there that's going to even benefit from that if it is that sort of size, like 80.
Maybe the front.
The front,
how big
and
that is. Smith's is a bit bigger, I think.
Too big.
Probably.
Yeah.
The front would be less than 80,
I think
right?
they're hoping, right? I think the hope is that new places will start. So they're creating that entertainment district in the city, where you're allowed to make a bit more noise, and trying to create conditions that are more friendly for people to go, oh, well, maybe we'll do a little live music bar in the city.
Cool.
I think that's the hope.
Yeah.
It's just like, you just got to hope there's some people out there that are willing to take a punt.
Yeah.
Because we were asked whether would we be interested to move a business into the city or do something in the city.
Who asked you that?
Oh, I was just part of the consultation. It was just
Gotcha.
a question that came up,
Gotcha.
And that's the other thing about our place is that, like, the location is also the part of the
kinda
main.
what
It's
makes
like
it,
the
right?
main reason we got it was like
Yeah.
the location, and it was around the corner from our house, and
You don't have competition there. You've got the Oval right there.
yeah, nothing to compare us to.
No, not in a bad way. It just like thrives on its own,
It's just I just had no interest in opening a venue in the city. Like, it's just like for some reason in my mind, it's just like a completely different thing.
Yeah, it does. It does seem
It's
completely
just-
different.
But yeah, I think the cities are coming back to life, and you know, for some younger people that are in there and
Okay.
in amongst it, hopefully they'll, yeah.
Yeah. Would you see that as healthy competition if another?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the more we're always been like that, and that's what I love about the people that we know in the scene are people that are just like, we're not as embedded as a lot of other places because we haven't been in it for that long. But you know, like the pilot crew, Ross from Pilot is just like, he's just always just been so friendly and so helpful, and the Rockford guys, like it's the more great venues there are in the city, the better. It's
Love that.
just like,
Love that.
it's just gonna bring more people out and about,
And bring more acts to Canberra as well.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you're just fueling, as you say, the nighttime economy and
Yeah.
giving everybody more of a it probably gives everybody a bigger slice of the pie, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it brings in like live music. You're looking at like nationally and internationally. It's great for economies.
Yeah.
And it's just that it doesn't get it feels like it doesn't get the recognition or the
Yeah.
support it should get. But yeah.
And Callum, how have you enjoyed? You're in a way doing the same thing with Coburg Up Late, the show where you talk to DJs while DJing. And
What a mess.
what a mess! Like, I don't know.
going on here?
Yeah, it doesn't work on paper. Just only works, but doesn't work in any other capacity.
Well, that's the funny thing, because you somehow do make it work, and it's like it shouldn't, but it does, and you can listen to it for the music and the conversation at the same time, and you balance that sort of so well.
Thanks.
How have you enjoyed getting to know those people and having that community form around you?
Yeah, that's
well.
been a really nice, unexpected bonus. A bit like what you were saying with Gang Gang, that you'd kind of just make decisions and then jump on them, and then things would manifest. You go, oh, of course that happened.
Yeah.
It's like, of course I was going to become more active in the Melbourne dance music community.
Yeah.
But that was never my thought
Didn't think
whatsoever.
about it, yeah.
Like, I reflect now, and it's like, it's been such a pivotal thing for opening doors in my world. And I think about, if you were to open up my phone and just look at the last 20 messages in any of the messaging apps, almost all of them are directly related to people I've met and worked with through Coburg Up Late. Which is such a dream as well, because I'm when I started the show in 2020, prior to that, all of these people were these like names that I would either idolized, or I'd had the occasional conversation with, and it's nice to be maybe a bit more on a personal level with them. So yeah, I'd say I think yes, the most important thing about Coburg Up Late and the most valuable thing is the relationships that come from it.
Such a good show.
Oh, thanks.
I love it, and I'm not like I actually wasn't. I'm more into electronic music now, and I think the show could be part of it just because I watched so much of it, and like it's just so fun to watch that Honey Smack episode. Holy moly!
Oh, what are the odds? Which I've just pulled.
Electronic dance music is made.
This was my favourite episode too.
It's so good.
Software, it's arranged.
This was
I mean,
crazy.
he is
This is my favourite
Mania.
moment.
You were saying?
He makes the bass the boy is banging. Which is...
That is surely like clause 4, page 67 of your PhD.
And those who are playing at home, that's a Tyree Cooper sample right there.
This guy's so
From
smart.
1988.
Actually?
Yes.
Wait. Oh, no shit.
No shit.
Oh, my God.
So-
The vocal sample?
The vocal sample.
Like what we just heard?
Yes, he makes the bass the boy is banging is Tyree Cooper, the producer, awesome super duper trooper. He makes the bass the boy is banging.
This guy knows his shit. This is amazing. Take it away, Dave. We've
Yeah,
got
shout out
another
to
15 or so.
David Haberfeld,
That's it. Thanks
Honey
for
Smack for
So good, so good.
So good.
And just full of moments like that, like where you're learning about, similar maybe
He's
to
crazy.
Sam, like I had no real insight into that world or interest, but from afar and
Yep.
enjoying the music, but you kind of do learn about it
Definitely.
by watching that show.
And you know, even me
And
as
you're learning.
exactly as
yeah.
the host, I am equally. I'm being educated in real time as well. It's all happening. Yeah, filming that episode in particular was amazing. The feeling that I had whilst making that was, I can't believe we're recording this.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is being recorded.
Yeah.
It felt like the most internet thing I'd ever done. Like it was like the darkest corner of the internet was happening in my house for this hour. So it's I don't know if it's a great entry episode for Coburg Up Late because it's fucking whack.
It is whack.
It's really weird.
But
That
it's
might
great.
be why it's the perfect.
Yeah,
entry
it's a good
yeah.
episode.
And that was special because he was doing it all.
He's doing it live.
Yeah.
Doing
It's
it all
great.
live.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah. So yeah,
And you licked his head.
Yeah.
I did. I licked his head. It was pretty salty. We were pretty sweaty at that point. Something that I have to report about Coburg Up Late that I'm excited about, guys. And Sam, you were recently down in Melbourne at my place. And that is that I got a banging tax return this year. And I decided to sink it into the show. And so previously what I've done, I've done 35 episodes now. And for all 35 episodes up until this point, I rent most of the equipment or borrow it from friends. And that's obviously financially viable for a while. But it's just the time expense that it takes to pick everything up from all the different rental houses and all the different friends, pay for it, drive it to my house, organise a day leading up to a weekend when myself and one of the crew members, Patrick Neff, shout out to you, Neffy, will be able to set up the entire garage. And that means I also need to unset the garage prior because it's my working office. So it's essentially like moving house twice because then you have to do it after the shoot as well. Now, let's not forget as well that I'm moving all of the equipment in. And I only have it rented for a 1 week period, which means that week I need to organise all of my guests, often from overseas, to all come to my house within a 1 week period. So it's a logistical minefield. And then the last bit is because we were shooting on a particular camera called a Red, which is it's an amazing camera, but it's quite an old camera as well. So it could only store 30 minutes of content on it, which meant it was one person's job. One person had to come in and they had to stand next to the Red. And then when it gets up to like 29 minutes, they have to signal at the person who's holding the camera. So there's myself, there's the DJ, and then there's two crew members. They have to signal to the person with the handheld camera to make sure that you've got a steady shot right now, and then they'll hit stop recording on the Red, take out the card, put in the other card, start it wrangling, hit start recording. There's usually a 30-second break, but that's the only job that they have for the entire thing, which means I have to pay this person to be there for that one thing that happens in the middle of the episode. So there's all of these considerations that I've had to do for 35 episodes, which it's been incredibly fulfilling, but also borderline unsustainable.
Yeah.
And so thank you for this tax return and changing things up a little bit. I now own basically all of the equipment. I've got a permanent loan on some of the lights from Pat Neff. And we're shooting on one of the other camera operators, his camera, and we've managed to mimic the shot. This is such a boring technical conversation for everybody. And we've managed to mimic...
I particularly like this camera. So
good. And we've managed to mimic the exact same shot as the Red using a particular lens on the Ursa Blackmagic Mini to look exactly like the Red, which means we only need one crew member. So I'm now about 20 times more agile to do the show, which means instead of having to book 8 artists in a single period and then just not do it again for another 6 months to a year, which is how I've in reality had to do it. Now, if an artist lands in Melbourne and says, hey, can I come and do the show? I'm at Tullamarine now. I can be in Coburg in 15 minutes. I'm like, sweet, let me just get Sam over, who lives in Clifton Hill, less than 15 minutes away, and literally hit one switch in my garage and then bang, the hazers spitting out smoke. All of the lights are on. The microphones are already mixed. They just need to walk in and we need to do it. So
Ready to go.
Yeah, Coburg Up Late has very recently entered phase 2.0.
It's a bit of a business mind over there by the sounds of it. A couple of redundancies. And
It means a lot coming from a business mind yourself.
caused by a government surplus.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Government
love it.
surplus. Yeah, the government has paid for the next season of Coburg Up Late. So
Can attest, it's looking good in there.
thank you.
Looking
Thank
real
you.
good in there.
Yeah, when Sam
That
came,
hazer.
when Sam came to stay, I 15 minutes before he arrived, I flicked on the switch and just smoked the room out.
He's also won. You've also won 2 CDJ 3000s by being. How do you win them? By being the best fundraiser for that quickest.
Quick as Thieves,
Yeah.
yeah, which is also on again this year.
Those things
in
are
May.
insane. Those
Yeah.
CDG.
Yeah, I brought my 3000s down to up to Canberra, and we had them out at Gang Gang
Yeah.
yesterday.
Outside.
Yeah, flew the
Under the
spaceships
pergola.
outside under the pergola. Shout out to Mike Toner, Thick as Thieves, and the Fred Hollows Foundation. Oh, and of course for Pioneer for those amazing gifts. But yeah, Mike Toner, there's another example. This is a man who I'd consider a very dear friend. And did you meet?
I saw it coming.
Oh, you saw it coming. Shout out to Mike Toner, this beautiful man on the right-hand side. Inarguably the most beloved man in Melbourne, who I had on the show once, and now we're really great mates. But now when Mike says jump, I say how high, because he does so much for not just the Melbourne electronic community, but also for charity. He's raised literally millions of dollars to cure preventative blindness in the third world. And he also does a lot for me. So shout out, Mike. And yeah, just to bring it back to what you asked earlier, Nick, in terms of the community that surrounds the show, that friendship would never have happened if it wasn't for this show. So I'm really grateful
It's
for
wild.
that.
I remember when we were at that weird light thing in the park in Melbourne. It was like
Yes.
well, I can't remember what it was. It wasn't that amazing.
We're allowed to talk. Yeah, we can say it. There was a shit council event in Melbourne. I forgot the name of it.
And we're walking around and we're standing in line somewhere, and I see this person sort of just like sort of glancing across, looking across. I'm like, Kaz, I think you know someone over there, and
That's right.
this guy comes up. He's not kind of what you would expect for like an electronic sort of focused show, sort
Yes.
of like just a regular looking guy, a bit older.
Yeah.
And he I just had to come say hello. I just love the show.
Oh, that was a good moment. Thanks for bringing that up. What I remember about that moment was I went and gave him a massive hug because he was looking at me like we were friends.
Always pretend you remember.
Yeah, we've discussed this as well. And then you as a cafe owner, I hope that we're allowed to talk about this. And if we're not, you're going to have to edit it out. And if you're watching on Twitch, you're very, very lucky. But as a cafe owner and as someone that does this show, I think something we share in common is like you probably know a lot of people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of friendliness that comes with that.
Yeah.
And I'll speak for myself, although you may share this sentiment, and that is that I would hate for someone to feel not special, like you've forgotten who they are, you've forgotten their name or their face.
Yeah.
Can you relate to that?
Yeah.
Of course. So when this guy was looking at me like, I was like, oh, it's just a guy I've forgotten. I'll go and give him a massive hug. So I went and hugged this guy, and like Sam's there, and I'm thinking like just hug and say like, how have you been? And then he's like, no, dude, we don't actually know each other. We've never met in our lives. And I'm like, oh, no, that's just normal for me to hug strangers.
It kind of is though.
Actually, you're not entirely wrong there. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, awesome. And was the Mike Toner the marathon
Yes.
stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what came first, the episode or you starting that?
So I'm this crazed marathon runner, fundraising lord because of Mike Toner.
Just did a half Ironman as well.
Oh, thank you.
Talk about that later.
Yeah,
Gee,
sure.
So that was a catalyst for that?
Well, endurance sport was always a part of my life. That has been since 2016. But there's specifically the Quickest Thieves event, which, a little bit of context, it's been going for a number of years now. And it's essentially the Melbourne electronic community, but now also the Australian electronic music community, and it's based in Melbourne, running either a half marathon, a full marathon, or an ultra marathon. Last year there was 100 kilometres that people did.
Yikes.
Shout out to Mike Toner for doing it.
Did he do it?
He did 100K. whilst running his booking agency and whilst running the event itself as well, which is crazy. But everybody's doing it to raise money. Oh, there we go. Wow, you were just sitting there just Googling as soon as it comes up.
Is that the onesie?
Yeah, so if you go back, you'll see a onesie. Yeah, so this thing, I really struggled in this thing. My shout out to my friend Sam Wiley, who's the best. I've done a lot of training with him, and he's a psychologist as well. And I think he gets a lot of free work out of me. He's an amazing to chat to, and he gave me this onesie to do my half Ironman in. But I don't know what happened, and I know there's a word for it.
Pat had it.
Yeah, Pat. Shout out to Pat Lucas, who gave me this word, and I can't quite remember what the word was, but it's when you're so dehydrated that you no longer process liquid very well. So I had to pee every 2 to 3 minutes for the last hour of this half Ironman event. So I'd been running, swimming, or cycling for 6 hours at this point, and it's my last hour. It's incredibly. I was overheated, I was dehydrated, and I wasn't stomaching the energy gels anymore, so I was dry retching. But yeah, that last hour I had to I had to pee every 2 to 3 minutes. Now this would be a minor inconvenience if I wasn't wearing a onesie, but in a onesie it is a major inconvenience. And it's made even more inconvenient by the fact that every time you stop moving, your lactic acid builds up and you're inside a portaloo full of other athletes, piss and shit. I'll say it. And I have to, and a lot of female listeners will be able to attest to this, but if you're wearing a onesie and you need to pee, you got to take the whole thing off. And so I had to do that every couple of minutes, and fortunately, I think Ironman had accounted for the fact that there would be some people experiencing this,
Losing it.
Yeah, so they put a lot of portaloos along the way, and I was literally the last hour, so probably the last like 10K or so, was stopping every 3 minutes, taking off my onesie, squeezing out the world's most pathetic pee, pulling the onesie back on, running another 3 minutes, repeat process until I cross the finish line.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, you started it. You brought this up. Sorry, everybody.
But you did it. You finished it.
I did it. Yeah, I've just signed up for a full Ironman in June, so I'm going to. I remember.
Nuts,
It's crazy. It's just a crazy amount of exercise.
Yeah,
Silly.
Yeah, that last hour was all that I was thinking was either I'm in so much pain or I'll never do this again. And then I think it took me about a week to go, all right, I better
double it.
I better double it in Cairns. So that's in Cairns in June.
Cool.
So I've got 7 months to train though. So I had 1 month to train last time, which was, many would argue, is foolish. Now I've got 7 months to train. I'm going to take it seriously. I realized how painful it was to not train properly. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what kind of physical and mental benefits come from
7 times the train. You'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you.
7 times the training, only twice the distance.
Yeah, it's only twice the
Easy.
difference. Yeah, in like subtropical climate. Perfect.
Maybe install some sort of flap system.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yes.
Well, I
Yes.
actually bought a toozie now.
Okay.
Part of the tax return dollars went towards buying a toozie for that.
How
for
much
that
was
very
his
reason.
tax return?
Yeah.
Well, it was
pretty
up
hefty, I
there.
think.
Nice.
It was up there.
Yeah.
But I've actually since found out that a lot of iron people, they pee themselves.
Yeah.
That's where, honestly, I thought this story was going. Yeah,
No,
when
no,
you started, yeah.
have some decorum. Yeah, no, that's whilst you're cycling or running.
Yeah, well, was it Pat or me? Why didn't you just wet yourself?
Yeah, and I'm like, well,
What?
because I have dignity and I prefer to tell an entire podcast about my habits. But yeah, so, I mean, it might not have even needed a toozie. Yeah. We've really taken this off topic. This is
Well-
no longer about Canberra arts.
Nah, fuck that. We can talk about anything on this show.
Canberra farts? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't segue this question, but
Actually, can you try?
there's probably
Let's
a
reverse-
segue.
let's reverse
there's-
engineer the segue.
There's a segue here with diapers and growing up with your brothers,
Okay.
peeing in diapers or something like
That's
that.
good.
Ah.
And we had a guest on last week, a cinematographer who works with his wife, who's a director on
Shout out to the
major
Baker
motion
brothers.
pictures. Yeah. And I wanted to ask you a similar question
Yeah.
that you work with your brothers. how do you get along? How do you find it? And you were also in a band with your brothers, so a lot of time together.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can only really speak for myself, but I mean, it seemingly is going all right for them as well. But I guess we just had to learn how to get along with each other from like a young age. Mum and Dad took us around Australia a couple of times for like 6 months when we were a bit younger. So, you're sitting in the car for like a lot, and then there's no other like friends to play with, so you're just stuck with your two little brothers. And then the music came along. So me and Max, we used to busk, and that was great. It was like just so we do it a few afternoons a week. And then we were getting better and better at guitar.
I was going to say, they're amazing guitarists. For those that aren't aware, get around the Conways. They're incredible guitarists.
But the money started slowing down, and we're like, what's going on? What the bloody hell's going on here?
Oh.
The better you get, we're getting less money.
Oh, because it's not as cute anymore.
We're getting older.
When you're virtuoso.
Yeah, we were getting older.
Ah.
And so that's when we're like, oh, well, let's get this one. Get him on the bongos or something. So he was 4 when he started playing bongos for us.
This is Riley, the youngest brother?
Getting 10% of the earnings.
See, now that's very business-minded.
Started young.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were always going to buy this cafe.
He got more of a share later.
Yeah.
God. And then, I don't know. Then, so like when you're playing music together, like we started a band with our first band was Rubicon, so that's with Ruben of Peking Duk fame. Ruben, I guess you're always having to kind of resolve problems or creative differences and stuff, and I guess you just learn how to communicate. And
do you mean on
problems.
On a personal level? You always do that.
Yeah, well, like in a band. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, especially if you're traveling for gigs and doing stuff and like recording, and it's sort of whoever's sort of written, and like say if I'd written a song and someone wanted to do something weird, and you have to learn how to sort of let go of things and when to let go of things or whatever. And I think it actually just set us up really well for working together.
Yeah, you have an intimate understanding of each other. You know what I mean?
We know when we piss each other off, and and we do,
I was going to say, does that happen?
I can tell I piss them off too much sometimes.
Really?
I'm a bit sort of, I got a busy brain, and I think I'm a bit naggy sometimes.
Right. Do you think that's just the older brother syndrome?
Probably, yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm
letting you off the hook.
But we get it, that we just sort of, it's just fine, like we know each other, and so sort of like I realize, they realize, whatever, and it's like, it's fine. Whereas, that can be a challenge with other relationships, we have years and years of history of knowing that it'll just be fine.
Yes.
Which is handy, especially when you're stressed, because we've had some really stressful moments with the business, especially with the renovations and stuff. So it's, you need to be able to like blow off a little bit of steam or whatever, and be able to still work, well.
It's kind of like, in a way, Slow Turismo was this amazing training ground for Gang in working together in a business relationship.
But I think any musician, any musician in a band that's got to a certain level where you're recording and you're doing releases with publicity and shit like that, anyone is going to have the same tools.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't know until you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is all kind of a bit similar.
But I guess then you had the extra training of also growing up with these people too.
Well, yeah.
A lot of people start in the band and that's their training for the next thing. For you, the training was like literally growing up, busking, living together, pissing each other off and solving problems.
Yeah.
Pissing.
There's the segue. Nick Vivers, ladies and gentlemen.
We even weirdly went to Meredith together last weekend. Like we just,
Yeah. No, which is beautiful. Like it's something I really love is that you all obviously absolutely love each other as well, to the point where you're willing to like continue working with each other as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to Max and Riley.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's pull up a bit. I'll pull up a a classic. Are we going to see some new music from the band anytime soon, or is it not on the radar at the moment?
It actually is, yeah. We've kind of finished the album what is it? Sort of like 6 or 10, who knows how many
Wow.
years.
Which is super good too. The new record's sounding really awesome.
We
But
actually,
they're doing that thing where it'll never be finished because there's like, yeah, but why don't we change this moment at this millisecond and make this snare drum slightly louder?
get someone to do a collab. We keep doing that.
Yeah.
That extends it out a bit.
Yeah. That's exciting though.
Yeah, we were actually talking about, we got some film clips planned. They're meant to happen this year, but I think hopefully very early next year.
You were saying with the film clips, a different approach that you're taking that I thought was really exciting is you're not necessarily choosing the singles.
No.
You're more going for a bit more of an artistic approach.
Well, that's been the most refreshing thing about music for us now, that we were really giving it a bit of a crack, and you sort of can fall into that stage of like not writing for Triple J, but like sort of trying to I saw a Rick Rubin thing. It was like you're writing for the audience or for what you think will be like the popular one or
Gotcha.
whatever.
Which is so hard not to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a trap that like a lot of musicians fall into, like successful musicians fall into. But since taking over the cafe and everything, we have this studio set up at home. It just we just sort of drifted into a completely different sort of approach to the music, and it was just yeah. I mean, that why it's taken so long is because we've written like fucking 60 something songs, or like even more. I think like there's so many songs.
Wow.
And it was sort of it just got further and further away from what we were doing.
Wow.
In I think a really good way.
Yeah.
But it's just sort of detached from any thought about how it's going to be received.
Yeah, I was
It's
going to
just,
say, what governed you? What governed you selecting the album tracks from those 60 songs, and what do you think that was completely separate from how it would be received?
I think so. I mean, like you obviously want the songs. I mean, there are some sort of different kind of almost like eras, which I think will work more together. So like obviously
In the writing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think like there's some songs from say like that from recent songs that maybe didn't quite work as well with the album tunes. So like there's just and they might be a better song and technically you think that should be on the album, but if it's not necessarily like gelling.
Gotcha. So you're still trying to create something cohesive.
Yeah, the album I think I think an album is still like an art form that you need to sort of approach it in a certain way.
A body of work.
Yeah, and you want it to have like a direction and a feel. Well, we do. And, and I think that's, I guess having like a shitload of songs kind of helps. But we have no idea. I mean, so much of the album I've like played once, like it's just.
What do you mean?
Like really late at night, just like jamming out and just like, I'll just be like, maybe I'll like play some guitar and I'll play it once. I'm like, yep, that's cool. Move on, do something else. And then, like a month later, you're like, what was I doing? But you don't want to change it because that's it. That's the moment, That's the first is best sometimes.
You've captured a moment in time.
And so much of the time we've tried to recreate things and it's just like you can waste so much time trying to recreate like the feel of that first expression of an idea. That's why it's so nice having just the good enough quality gear at home to just know that that's studio quality. Like
I was going to say, so is most of or all of the record done at home?
A lot of like, so the drums and some of the bass and stuff, it was done at Infidel. But nearly everything else is just done at home. Yeah.
Sick.
Like we've got a really good mic at home. And
that's so freeing.
It's great.
Yeah. Does that mean you even make demos anymore? Or is it just like
not really? Yeah,
you create tracks and you build on them.
Yeah, and we'll go do drums, and then I really want to be able to do drums at home. That's sort of the next thing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just really fun, just writing like whatever you sort of. It's just kind of whatever comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that the album is in that kind of the very, would you say it's at the 99.5%, 99.9% point. Are you finding or making time for the messy parts of it? The sitting around, the jamming, the being a band?
Well, not yet. No, that's why it hasn't happened. I mean, we're stuck. We're stuck on the logistics of finishing the mixes, and then just like that's the bit where I personally kind of like lose the drive a little bit.
Yeah.
My favorite bit is just writing the songs.
Yes. Gotcha.
But we'll get there.
Yeah.
It's tricky with the business, like it's very
totally
easy to forget to put in the time.
Yeah, yeah. So do you have a timeline for the release?
Early next year, hopefully.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And I think I don't know if we I think we started on it and then we started talking more about the music, but specifically those music videos.
Yeah.
You've gone to a production company.
Yeah.
And you're saying
it's the same guys, Crux.
Yeah, right.
That did You Were Dead.
Yep.
They're just great. They're great guys. They do a lot of like professional stuff, like other work, but they love doing just like kind of wacky, weird things. And they did a few of the earlier Sapphire clips and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, we spoke to them years ago about doing clips, but so I've had a bit of time to think about it.
And but I really love that you've gone, here's the record, you choose the song.
Yeah.
That's quite an alternative approach, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it's just sort of, it's like it was back and forth. It wasn't like
Gotcha.
We were just sort of interested what ideas they had.
Yeah.
Because we also gave them like Lou, right, kind of has like a thesis on what like the album kind of is and is about.
Really? Did you guys do that together?
I mean,
that was his baby.
Yeah, we did sort of do it together, but he definitely did the most of it.
Cool.
He's great at that kind of stuff, It's just and that's how he's got, some of the collaborations and stuff, and he's just really good at explaining sort of what it is and what
like
each song is.
a mission statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember doing a mission statement with the Bareback Titty Squad.
Yeah.
We got together. We got a new drummer just for our third mix, and he was so excited to get on and start playing the drums with us.
Yeah.
And we're like, "Come on over. We're having our first session on the new mix." But I remember him being, shout out Kerry Watkins. He was so disappointed that the session was just to write a mission statement together. And he's like, guys, he's got his sticks. He's like spinning them around his fingers.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to play the drums, guys. When do we start? We're like, no, Kerry, we have to write a mission statement. And we spent like 4 hours doing this, writing like what the Bareback Titty Squad isn't what this mix is and what it isn't. And I think we scared him away. I'm pretty sure he kind of stopped coming after that.
This is what I thought you were getting to with the nappies.
Ah, yeah.
We're going to keep segueing back to my least favourite part of this episode.
I mean, this was huge, though.
This was insane. Yeah.
So I've actually had recent thoughts about this, which is of all the things I've done, is the thing that's had the most eyeballs.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think I know why. And I think that there's a purity to this which the Bareback Titty Squad were never able to replicate after this. This was our first video, and it was pure because I don't think we were trying to do anything other than what you see in front of you.
Yeah.
It was like, this is three guys having fun. The idea was it is a band that plays a Triple J Hottest 100 in half an hour. And I think it went well because of that. It was a very, very simple idea.
And it was like the next day, wasn't it?
No, it came out in March. But I love that your memory has blurred that and just gone
But wasn't it that it was quite immediately after?
No, we didn't see. So I'll loop back to that in a sec. Yeah. But basically, we actually just started. So this became quite successful, and we got like a booking agent off the back of it, and we toured the country twice, and it basically set the tone for 5 years of my life. Was this band, and it all came from the back of this, but. Like a heroin junkie, we were constantly chasing this, chasing the way that this was received. And you were talking about with the new Slow Turismo record, it was no longer, your artistic sensibility went back to the art and not about how it was received.
Yeah.
Which is why I can hear I was thinking about this project when you mentioned it, because it's so there's a purity in that. There's a purity in like just making something because you want to make it, and because the art itself excites you.
Like your show.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, and I think Coburg Up Late is an exercise in purity, and every time I find myself veering off track, like what would the people want? I got to slap myself on the wrist and come back. What do I want? That's the art. The people want to see the art that excites me.
Yeah.
So basically, cut a long story short, the Bareback Titty Squad, our career was this kind of trajectory that kind of just went slowly down like that. And by the way, really valuable learning experience, and I love the boys, and I had such an amazing time touring and all of the doors that opened. But every project that we did after that, and you may recall, it was like always like a big project. So there was the Hottest 100. We did the DJ Mag Top 100. Now, just an example of the lack of purity, or the fact the purity that got sucked out from the one before is my concept was, but if we do the DJ Mag Top 100, all of the acts in the DJ Mag Top 100 are bigger than all of the acts on the Triple J Hottest 100, which means when they share this one, we'll go even bigger. And now, like that already.
So it was
doomed from the beginning.
The genesis of the idea was
exactly the genesis of the idea was marketing, not speaking of Peking Duk, there they are. Here's the Hottest 100 Volume 2 now. This is so not pure, because it's like, this is like our fifth mix, and by this point we're like, all right, let's literally replicate what we've done, but let's jump out of a plane at the end, and let's make it a police chase. And whilst like the production level, I'm super proud of the production.
It's still an amazing video, and I wonder if you looking back on it is that it didn't top the first one. It was a failure.
Yeah.
But I think these are on their own standing up to an amazing piece of entertainment that happened to not get the views of the first one, but was still true. So it's interesting how you're looking back on this, that it was like a total failure, because these were at the time still, talked about in blogs or magazines, and it was a hotly people were waiting for the next one and stuff. I feel, but it maybe
I guess because
it was an expectation thing,
and expectations are the big. That's the big problem here, right? It's your expectations which will let you down always. It's not life. It's that you expected life to be different. It's interesting. It's like, had we not had the expectations set so high from the first one, there it is, jumping out of a plane.
Can't believe Peking Duk didn't get it that year.
Yeah, Chet Faker instead. Mate, when we wrote this, we had to put Chet Faker at the end, and it's like, how do you put Chet Faker at the end of this mega mix? Yeah. This was the last mix that we made because I think we were kind of a bit disheartened. I think seeing it as a failure, I think I'm not doing us a service by calling it a failure. It wasn't a failure, no. But it certainly didn't meet our expectations. And after a while, it's like, kind of felt like we were flogging a dead horse, right? We were just, because we kept on like trying to, here's where we went wrong. By constantly trying to refine an idea and gear it towards an audience, we were drifting further away from our audience. And so purity is this theme that I've now just trying to be focusing on as an artist, in what I create and also what I engage with. When I listen to music, I go, what draws me to this? And so much of the music that I listen to, I'm like, now I have like a purity radar on it. And it's like, this is so nerdy, but I was driving to the pool the other day, listening to the Offspring's back catalogue, and I listened to literally albums and albums and albums, and I got up to Smash from 1994 and got up to their song Come Out and Play, which was the first single, and that was the biggest Offspring single of the time, and it also made Smash the most successful, the highest selling independent record of all time. And I'm like, wait, It's because this is so pure. This song is so pure. Come Out and Play is the peak of the Offspring. Every song that they made before Come Out and Play was leading up to Come Out and Play. Every song that they made after that was just trying to
do
replicate,
it.
trying to do it. Pretty Fly for a White Guy is literally Come Out and Play. It's the same key. It's the same scale. It's the same like little. It's the same like bossa nova groove, and it's the same stop start with a cartoon sound effect in the middle. And all the girlies say, "I'm pretty fly for a white guy," or "You gotta keep them separated." Like literally, the riff is the same. That's Come Out and Play. Pretty Fly for a White Guy is and it's like, yeah, I mean, Pretty Fly for a White Guy was actually more successful, but they had a bigger marketing machine behind them. But the real purity is in Come Out and Play, which is a very, very nerdy and long-winded way of saying purity has been a really, really big focus of mine and what I'm looking for in art, and what I think that we as an art-consuming audience are subconsciously looking for as well. I think purity is something that really it's actually really obvious when something isn't, and when something is trying to just cast the widest net or appeal to the largest amount of people.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was
No, I love it. I mean, that's. I think that's like part of what's so exciting in the scene right now as well. Like, say, I mean, I'm obviously biased because I just love them, but like, say, Mildlife. That's a band that just they're not conforming to any of the prior sort of like categories that would make you successful in the Australian music. I mean, you had to be on Triple J, you had to have that was just kind of the only
that's
avenue.
so refreshing.
Whereas I don't know how personally successful the guys are, but I know, the band is just killing it. And they're like a kind of proggy jazz electronic band, you know, like it was packed in for the Canberra show, and like people. I mean, I had a great time. Seemed like everyone else had a great time, but it's that's a very different style of music, and you've got like Surprise Chef. There's a whole bunch of bands that are coming up, just doing. Like they're very much their own thing. Yeah,
and do you think it's really obvious as well that they're not trying to be anything? That it's they're just doing their thing, and that's what's working.
They're all good at what they're doing, and they're good at marketing, and they're good at all that stuff.
Right.
But the music is like, it just is what it is. I mean, that's what I think anyway.
And that's an interesting concept as well, like to try and then chase purity, which defeats the purpose of what purity is. It's like, hey, we should be more like them because they're really pure. And then you defeat the purpose. I was thinking about that Mildlife gig earlier. That's what I referenced with you guys graduating, and I didn't mean that to come across as like a condescending. More of just like you've literally grown, because suddenly it kind of puts you guys on the map as like being a very like a worthy venue of having a touring band like Mildlife come through. What do you think this means for the future of Gang Gang, having a band like Mildlife come through, treating them really well, which you would have done, and then selling that many tickets as well?
Yeah, I mean, well, immediately, I didn't realize until he got there that their sound guy is also from OKEG. Do you know the live electronic Melbourne act?
Oh, okay.
Really, really cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we just immediately just hit him. I'm like, dude, would you want to come back up? Like, we're going to do like a live electronic festival. What do you reckon? He's like, yeah, sure.
Oh, that's great.
Then, I mean, it just immediately, it gets easier to book people when, I mean, it's like anything, if you know someone that's done something and, it was good. It was good. Oh, yeah, cool.
So is that this kind of thing, this kind of caliber is something that you want to keep aiming for? Is this the ballpark you're moving towards?
I mean, hopefully. Yeah. There's a few people we'd really like to get down. And that's the idea for us, and it's tricky. I mean, we lost out on a couple of we always go for grants. It's like something we spend a bit of time on, but it's been good. We've got a couple, and that's you realize there's like a little bit of a what we sort of have seen as like a bit of a gap in the Canberra music scene, and something that could benefit is just more interstate interaction with local industry, local artists.
Cool.
and trying to basically, so that was, we want to bring more bigger interstate bands down that have all the bells and, they've got the booking agent, they've got the manager.
Nice.
And you put on, give the opportunity to local supports. That's kind of one of our things. We say like we
nice.
get to pick the supports,
Cool.
And
is that normal? Is that industry standard?
I mean,
or is that
yes
you guys
and no.
messing?
Yes and no. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like,
I love this theme. The theme of I don't know, we just do. That's brilliant.
So that's, yeah, but then you realize, that in a grant application, we're going to do less gigs, but and bring interstate people in. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear more opportunities for local artists.
Yeah.
And that, it feels weird to sort of veer away from that. But I don't know. Hopefully we'll get to do a bit of both.
Awesome. The question on my lips, what does this mean for, do you foresee the worlds of Slow Turismo and Gang ever intersecting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I was like, how do I sensitively ask this? You're like, mate, I'm all across it every Saturday night. It's like you're just handing out flyers. Follow us on Instagram. How do you
just playing the album in the cafe?
I mean, you fucking should, right? So how do you foresee those worlds colliding? Aside from the fact that you are both of those worlds.
I mean, I think that if we're going to do it, I mean, it's just that's where we'll do our launch. I think.
Sick.
Yeah.
It seems so obvious now that you say it, but also that is a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah,
be
and
fun.
then what about when you were talking about like giving opportunities to local bands in terms of supports?
Yeah,
could you foresee like, okay, obviously you wouldn't abuse that and do that all the time, but the right band comes along, and Slow Tourism would be the perfect support. Is that the kind of thing that you would jump on? I know that's a hard question.
I've not thought about that, to be honest.
No.
I mean,
which is an indication of this man's purity, that he's not once thought about using his own venue to his advantage.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a bit
weird.
I was going to say, is the reason to give that opportunity to other bands?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, that's kind of, yeah. And also to just host our favorite bands.
Oh, see, that's the shit.
It's all self-serving.
It's great. That's where our worlds intersect. Actually,
yeah. I mean, you're having fun. You're booking people that you fucking love.
That's it.
And I mean, that's kind of what we want to do.
And after 18 episodes, I booked myself and did the 333 episode,
Yes.
which was literally just me DJing on my own show. Because people were like, "When are you going to do it yourself?" And I'm like, "It's coming."
And that went well, right? I mean, it's got a lot of plays.
Yeah. People like that one.
Banging mix.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm stoked with that mix, and I love that that's a mix that kind of goes up on the digital shelf forever.
Yeah.
And I can always
It's
dust.
solid.
Thanks, man.
333.
Yeah, I
It's
can
a long
dust
time as well.
that off and go. Like I still look at that, and that's a piece of work where that feels very pure.
Yeah.
I was very like this. It did
You've
not matter
loved dance music. You've loved electronic music for a long time.
Totally.
You've been a big fan.
Big fan. And this is the Coburg Up Late and the 333 mix, and the way I engage with dance music now is really fulfilling.
Yeah.
Because it's and DJing in general. This is a PSA for anyone who ever thought about DJing. Do it. It's like it's such a wonderful thing and so tactile to touch the music.
Yeah.
You're touching it and moving it and manipulating it. It's like how can, for me, without being a music producer, an electronic music producer, that's a whole another technological hurdle, which I'm interested in potentially crossing one day, but without actually getting that far. But to interact with the music on that level is such an amazing thing. So yeah, I think with Coburg Up Late, it's just taking that next step of now interacting with the artists as well that are making it. Yeah. I've got the next artist is coming in a couple of weeks.
Ooh.
From Germany, yeah.
Germany.
Can we get the sneaky leak? Who we got?
Well, I can't. Okay, I won't give you the leak, but what I will give you is a clue, and that is that I've booked a magician. So something we do and something that I love doing, because something I also have always loved is comedy.
Yeah.
And talk shows. And I've always loved Sean McAuliffe, the McAuliffe program. He used to do always did a gag at the beginning of each episode, like a visual gag. Like he'd come out and sit on a stool and drink from a cocktail with with the wedge of pineapple in it and put it down, and it would be not a thing. And so I started writing over the last 35 episodes of Coburg Up Late, just starting putting like a little visual gag at the beginning. And so like, you know, I've appeared with no clothes on, and then I realize that the cameras are filming and I duck under the decks and there's a quick cut and I come back fully clothed. Or like I've done backstroke over the back where I was literally swimming on one of the camera operators' backs. And there's been all kinds of things like that, but I was like, okay, here's your clue. This time I've hired a magician, and he's bringing a cage full of doves, which I'll then unleash when the cameras start rolling and say, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny's in the garage tonight. And there's going to be literally a cage full of doves flying around my 3 by 3 meter squared garage whilst I introduce the next act. So there's your clue.
You got anything?
There's your clue.
Interesting.
I'm bad with like that kind of stuff.
Something
so.
came to mind, but I don't think it's this. But
Prince.
Yeah, Prince will be coming back from the dead.
But no, something for the people at home to think about.
Speculate on. Yeah, so keep an eye out. And I would say the new season of Coburg Up Late coming out, but it's no longer in seasonal format, which I'm really stoked about. It's just I'll just have a new episode coming out.
Coming out when it's coming out.
Exactly, it's coming out, and I don't think I'll announce it as seasons anymore. That was it. That when Coburg Up Late became unpure was when I was thinking about the Instagram posts and when to time them.
The
and
rollout.
the rollout, and that did start to consume me a lot, and it took me away from why I was doing it. So, yeah. It doesn't, you know, when you'll get your Coburg Up Late when you get your Coburg Up Late, and I'm probably not going to announce it. I'm just going to put it out, and as soon as it's out, I'm done with it. But I hope you enjoy it.
Well, we can't wait, and we need more pure people like you guys in the world. So
that's a good
thank you
segue.
so much.
There we
for,
go.
Up until now, we've been pissing in the wind. Thank you.
bring it back again. But yeah, thank you so much for popping in, and great to chat, and looking forward to what's next.
Thanks, Pub.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks for
Sam.
having us.
Legends.
chat.
Thanks
guys.
for watching, everyone at home. Cheers.